So going to the next question, we're now going to go to men now. Because there's this thing that people say, I come out and say Black lives matter, and then somebody will be like, oh, white lives matter too, so all lives matter. So the question here is, when you say men's rights matter too, are you actually helping the situation, or you're making it worse? Especially knowing the benefits that men already have. As being born as a man is already a privilege, right? So are you adding to the problem, or are you actually helping the problem?
I don't support that men's rights stuff. I don't know the rights that they are fighting for.
When you say men's rights matter too, what do you mean?
It goes back to the definition of what feminism means. And just to reiterate, feminism means equal rights for both sexes. So if you say both sexes should have equal rights, invariably you're saying both sexes have rights. I think that's the logic here. Okay. So the fact that, and I wouldn't want to use race and gender inequality in the same. I won't want to put them in the same ship, because they're totally different things. If we break it down to the main fact is do unto others what you want to be done to yourself. So everybody has rights. For example, men's rights would include you also have false rape allegations. If you want to, those are also rights of men. You have men who are falsely accused, like a month or 2 months back, you had a guy who committed suicide because he was wrongly accused of rape. Is that not men's rights? Is that not rights for a man as well? So that's my point. So that's my point when I say there are men's rights as well. But it does not now mean that one is superior to the other. It does not mean that men's rights are superior to women's rights. Women's rights are superior to men's rights. Where's the balance? That's my trend of thought.
Okay. So for me in this particular situation, I get the issue of because when I was growing up, right, I think I heard it in a song where I think it was a Beyonce song where she used a clip from Chimamanda's speech, and she said equal rights for sex. So that was the first time I actually understood what is this thing that they're saying. So I went and I googled it and I found out that this is what feminism means. I would have to admit that I also wondered, right? If we're fighting for equal rights for the sexes, then why is it called feminism, right? Exactly. So I expected the definition of feminism to be fighting so that women can have equal rights. If you go through that direction, it makes sense to me to call it feminism, right? But I would also say that human beings should refrain from deflecting conversations, right? If we're talking about women's rights, the reason why the whole issue of women's rights came up in the first place was because people thought that women were not necessary, like they were not human beings. If you look at certain censuses that happened in the past, they only counted men. Women were not counted. It was that bad, right? So my question is, if we're talking about women's rights, it's because there's already a problem that we're trying to fix, right? So let's focus on women's rights rather than saying men have rights. Men already have those rights, right? There's nothing apart from gender roles, which I feel like men suffer, because if a man wants to be a nurse now, he'll be the laughing stock of his family, or if he wants to be, you understand? So yes, gender roles affect men too, but when it comes to rights, we have to understand that men already have these rights, and so women are trying to climb up. And that's why I wouldn't agree with you when you say race and feminism or whatever are two different things. They're basically the same things, just different definitions. For race, the Black people are trying to fight so that they can have the same rights as the white people. It's the same thing. Women are trying to fight so that they can have the same rights as men, right? So if you say people are protesting on the streets and saying Black lives matter, and you're coming to say all lives matter, you're trying to say that there's no issue. You're just complaining for nothing, because at the end of the day, all rights matter. No, we have seen the evidence that all lives do not matter. We've seen the evidence that females do not have the same rights as men. Do you understand? So if we're having that conversation,
would you agree with the definition of feminism then?
I agree with the definition of feminism. Maybe somebody should come up and change the name or whatever. But the point is, the definition is correct in the sense that, yes, it's not a situation whereby, okay, women now have, let's say these are the level of rights. Women are here right now. We're not saying women should climb and now be above men. No, we're saying they should be on the same level. That's what we're saying. So it means that the definition still holds. But if it now gets to a point where we're now discussing feminism, it's just like you said, rape. We're talking about how a girl was raped. Then some people are coming and saying, oh, what about false rape allegations? Yes, that is a separate conversation. It's not supposed to be in the same conversation. Do you understand me? Focus on what is on ground. A woman was raped. Let's focus on that. Tomorrow, bring up a movement and say, oh, what about men that have false rape allegations? Yes, we'll not fight for that. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Do not demean a particular conversation just because you are saying that, yes, there's another side to the story. We know there's another side, but right now, a woman is saying she was raped. Let's focus on that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
So, yeah, Edo said, please, what do you think about this particular thing we're talking about, this men's rights matter?
If I should add, I would say, I would add to what you have said so far. If someone accuses me of rape, right, except I have depression issues, then I kill myself and stuff, fine. If you accuse me of rape, you bring your evidence. The only thing that men should be fighting for right now in Nigeria is paternity leave, because I don't think we have that in Nigeria. That's the we should be fighting for right now. But because we get everything here, is it voting? Is it? We have everything, right to land, everything. I can't think of anything that we should be fighting for right now in Nigeria except that paternity leave stuff. As for the rape allegation thing, if you accuse me of rape, personally, I believe I'm emotionally strong. I would be heartbroken, but if I know I did not rape you, I will bring my defense and you bring your evidence that I raped you. I will go to the court and let the judge judge it. Let the judge decide. You get? So I don't, that's it, like you rightly said, that's a separate conversation. That is innocent until proven guilty. That is different. But as for men's right, this conversation I'm having right now, it's pointless to me. It's just people just trying to chase clout on social media. We just want to be heard, basically. Especially from a Nigerian perspective. So,
Ada, do you have anything to add to this?
I actually agree with you. Just somebody's view on this 99 sheep, one sheep parable, the lost sheep. So somebody said, you know how the parable is, you have 100 sheep, one gets lost, the shepherd leaves the 99 to look for the one. Now imagine the 99 saying, we 99, we matter too. But the 99 are not in danger. It's the one that is actually in danger. So that just wanted to say that to agree with you. Men are actually privileged. They might not realize it, but they have a lot of rights that women do not have. Men are privileged. A lot of, as in, yeah, you have privileges that you don't even realize. So I know it feels like, because feminism can get extreme. Some people can get very extreme. So I know it feels like men are getting sidelined, but let's just say because you are in a place where you are seeing men go to school and excel, so you feel like feminism has reached its peak. I disagree. There are still places that actually need feminism.
when you say equal rights, it should also go to the mind. So, like how you think, have a mind of your own. I think that's what feminism is about, having a mind of your own, being able to make your own decisions, being able to access opportunities. All right. But what I would call toxic feminists are doing right now, they are trying to force what they want on other women. So women don't want that. Actually, some women don't want that active. Some women don't actually want to be in politics. Some women don't want to be leaders. They just want to be at home watching African Magic and Big Brother Nigeria. The husband goes to work, brings money, they take care of the kids, and they cook, they clean, and they do whatever a housewife does. That's what they want. And what I'm saying is, women or feminists should allow women be that if they want to be that.
Yes. It's just adding to what you're saying. I respect Chimamanda Adichie a lot, but there was something she did some years back that really annoyed me. She, Hillary Clinton was running for president at that time, and she, on her Twitter bio, she said, "I am a wife,
Yeah.
I am a this, I'm a that." So she started with wife, right? And then Chimamanda attacked her and said, "Why would you start with wife? You are a person before you are a wife." And me, I'm like, what is your business? Like, if she feels that being a wife is her greatest accomplishment, then it's her thing, right? Leave her be. That is what feminism should be about. And then the last thing I want to say about this particular issue is, I hope we know, as Nigerians, I hope we know that up to now, women cannot post bail. Do we know that?
Hello, what?
Women
Yes, women
cannot
can
post
post bail.
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 Like,
Okay.
a woman
Yeah.
cannot go and do
Yeah,
bail
yeah.
for somebody. It's a terrible thing, and I don't know what we as Nigerians are actually doing as millennials. We're not doing anything. We're not fostering any change. Like you said, it's just about relationship. There's other issues. I had a friend who wanted to rent a house in Lagos.
I haven't heard.
I had a friend who wanted to rent a
not.
house in Lagos, and the landlord was saying that she had to bring a man to sign. These are things that
Yes.
have been fought against in the US and the UK like decades ago. That's what's happening in Nigeria today. So there are other issues, and I hope that we can rally and actually make some change.
This is what we should be fighting for feminism. These are the things, not because what I see on social media right now is, why should your boyfriend tell you to wash plates? He has no right to tell you to. I hate such conversations. I hate it. So sometimes if you see me posting on social media, on WhatsApp status and the rest, it seems I am anti-feminism, but I'm not. I'm just attacking those people that have that parochial mindset of, the woman is not supposed to wash plates. If I'm washing the plate today, you wash the plate tomorrow. If I cook today, you cook tomorrow. That is crap. Excuse me. Women cannot buy land in the north. Women cannot post bail. Women are not there's still gender mutilation. There are still girls that are not in school. This is what we should be fighting for. These are the protests that we should be leading.
So I think the last area that we're going to go into now is gender roles, right? Now, we say we are fighting for feminism, right? But I want to ask you personally now. Number one is, would you allow your wife, as for the men, would you allow your wife to be the major breadwinner in your house? Would you actually agree to stay at home so that your wife can work, especially since you know that she earns more, right? That's for the men. For Ada, same question. If you have a guy who you love, but he says he wants to be a nurse, or he wants to be a hairdresser, or he wants to be all those other things that women are supposed to have as their roles, would you put him down and say, oh, you need to have a real job as a man? So let's start with Adrian.
Well, as a male, the goal is actually to be the provider, the one that takes care, the one that provides. That's, for me personally, that's what my goal is. However, it doesn't really matter to me whose income is higher, whose income isn't higher. I don't see an issue with that personally. That's on one side. Then to the other side, on gender roles. Even after saying that, I think it also boils down to mutual respect for each other. What you want, what you wouldn't want, do not do it to another person. In the same way, I always go back to that, the idea that I follow, or the idea that I follow, which is being human in that sense. And also to gender roles. I think gender roles comes when you say, when you think of what attracts men. For example, men are always attracted to things, or always want to do things. And women are the ones who are more homely, who would like to nurture. And so you have the idea of who are major people who are engineers are men. Who are major people who are nurses are men. Are women. So I don't see anything wrong in that sense. However, there are also exceptions. There are exceptions in these things. There are exceptions because you can have a man who wants to be a nurse. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, in the broad spectrum of things, there's a reason why certain things happen. It's just how we are wired, basically. But however, if a woman wants to be a truck driver, there's nothing wrong with that.
As for your original question, I would not want to be a stay-at-home dad. I've never envisioned myself to be like that. If my wife is any more than me, to God be the glory, no problem. I will just still do my own part. I will still provide where I am supposed to provide, right? However, it all boils down to understanding. If I have a pilot wife or a sailor wife, I don't expect her to take the kids to school every morning. I don't expect her to wash the children's clothes. I don't expect her to cook. I have to man up and do those things for the family, not for myself, not for her, not for the kids, but for the family. You get me? So it's as for gender roles, you just have to grow above that. I think we have to grow above that. You get me? I think we have to grow above that gender role stuff because, like they say, what a man can do, a woman can do. So I don't see any. I don't think there should be any defining line for gender roles.
Okay. So, Ada, do you have anything to add to this? Do you want to answer the question?
For me, I feel like we can't really deal with your gender totally. I feel like we cannot really like rigid in our society because there are things that will make a man feel like providing for his family. That will make him feel like a man. There's some, I don't know if it's psychology based on our programming or it's how we are wired with our biology. I'm not sure which it is, but it will be almost impossible to read yourself or for me to read myself or my family of those gender roles. Because even if it's the minor things like your husband providing and all those things now, I feel like it's going to be really difficult. It's just there subconsciously, even when you're fighting, things just pop up. You realize that this is just how it is. Maybe later in the next 50 years, I don't know, it's possible, but for now, this society that I'm seeing is nearly impossible. Then my own main question, if I'll allow my husband or if I'll be fine with my husband doing things like nursing. I feel like I want to answer part of their question, being the major breadwinner. being the major breadwinner in the family. I feel money and providing, being a sole provider in relationship or in family tilts the power balance, whether we like it or not. Whether it's the old how it was before, how our parents, the man was providing and the mom wasn't really doing much because of two small things. Somehow your dad was the final say in the house. I know for my family, my dad was the only authority and it's just going to pass with him. And the major reason was because he was the sole provider. So I feel like he would tilt the balance. If I was the one bringing all the money, there's no how. It's just how human beings are wired. That's the man or the man. It's just going to tilt the balance of that family. So I feel for me and my husband, he needs to be doing something. He needs to chip in. He needs to do stuff. He needs to make me feel like I'm married to someone that is competent and capable, so that the power balance is not going to tilt. Because I assure you, I might say that I'm free, I'm liberal, I'm not that kind of person. If I earn more, blah blah blah, is a lie. I will abuse it, and anybody would. So it also comes down to mutual respect for each other. So you need to know when to compromise, when to sacrifice, when the man put down what he's doing, when the woman needs to put down. Somebody said it's not compromise, it's called sacrifice. So you have to know when to sacrifice for the family. You can do what you want as long as there's money. You can't stay at home that flexible hours. I don't mind. My dad was at home most of the time. He went for all my PTAs, all my meetings. Well, so I brought money. So you need to be valuable in the family, sort of. So even if you're available, but do what you like, enjoy yourself. But it has to be mutual. What's the word now? It's partnership. So the two parties are bringing everything that they can into that relationship, into that family.
Okay, that's interesting. Just to add, the last thing I'm going to say is the bottom line is I understand what every one of you has said. Yes, there's a certain tilt towards a certain kind of roles that each gender might play. But the point is, anybody who wants to break out of that mold should be allowed to, without being either a laughing stock or without being demeaned in the society. And then in terms of like you said, the power balance in a home, I feel like, yes, most people just feel like automatically the man should be the breadwinner. But I feel like any woman in this generation that is telling herself that I'm just going to be there as either a house, not just a housewife, but a, what's the word now? You're just there for sex and you're just there to cook and you're just there to take care of the children. It's fine. I'm not saying it's not fine, but you must have something that you're bringing to the table. It doesn't have to be money. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't have to be money.
Exactly.
If it's brain that you're bringing to the table, if it's managing the finances of your home that you're bringing to, there must be something. If not, you're going to be useless to society, not just to your husband. So it's not just a matter of, okay, I want to be a housewife, fine, no problem. Me, I don't want to work safe as I am here. So if I can just be at home, I would love
You want to be taken
it.
care
but
of.
but the issue is you have to develop yourself to the point where you are not a liability to your husband or your partner. Same goes for both sexes. So yeah, so I think that's
Mhm.
actually the final question for today. But final word. So first thing, what do you think ideal feminism should be now? Looking at where it has evolved from what it is today, what will you say your ideal feminism should be right now? And just give your last words to the audience and whoever it is that's watching. So we'll start with Adrian.
Well, like I said before, um, do unto others what you want to be done to yourself. So if if you put yourself in that shoe of a woman in this sense, and you wouldn't like being being rated in that manner, I feel you should also, in that sense, you also have a change of mindset, and also be human in the broad sense, be a human being in a broad sense, and do unto others what you want to be done to you. I think that would be my final thought.
Okay, so for the people watching, maybe you should speak to modern day feminists. Tell them your mind.
Modern day feminists, also equality, like based on the definition, if we go back to, there shouldn't be any problem if we go back to the definition. Toxic femininity and toxic feminism isn't the way to go. It's not on who is the matter is here. The bone of contention is not who is superior to who or who is superior to what. It's just having a human, just being human is my thoughts.
Okay, Edose.
I would say it goes for both genders now. Allow women be what they want to be. Allow them access opportunities. You get allow them think the way they want to think and make corrections when necessary. And for the toxic feminists out there, I would say be open-minded. Don't be stiff with your thoughts, right? Be open-minded and try to see things another way so that we would all cohabit peacefully in this social world right now.
Okay, Ada.
Okay, my own. uh, Basically, what should I say? We don't hate men because we love men. Men are not the enemies of women. Women are not your enemies. We need to work together to make sure that everybody can make their own choices without being discriminated, judged. So basically, that's what I have to say. Just allow people, give the people the power to make their choices without discriminating them, judging them. And we work with the other sex too. Don't need to, because I know sometimes I have the tendency to want to defend all females on the social media, whether they are, but look at right, look at wrong, judge with your church mind. Don't just judge blindly because of you feel, oh, I'm a feminist, so any woman I support. Judge with discernment and like Adrian said, do unto others what you want them to see.
Okay. So I think for me, my final words basically to sum everything up. There's just yes, there's feminism in relationships, but me, I feel like that's the least of our problems. So we should all try as much as we can to use our platforms, social media, your podcast, anything that you can, just to send out the word, and maybe hopefully we can come together and make some change, because that's what Nigeria needs at the moment. Because I can't just imagine the fact that I cannot be able to go and bail somebody from jail. Doesn't make sense to me. Like, what's different about me? So it's weird. So I just feel like we should try to start coming together in any way we can to educate people, to change people's mindsets about certain things.
Women in the legal system, they should do something about that bail stuff.
Yes, but where I would disagree with you now is, if we're talking about feminism, should it be women that must still fight for women's rights? Like Adrian said, we're all human beings. So why can't all human beings fight for all human beings? Why does it have to be the women that have to fight for women's rights? That's what we're saying. There's an issue. So we should stop thinking of ourselves as that side against this side. It's all, everybody, we are all one. Men,
true.
that you think that, oh, I'm a man, you will have daughters tomorrow, and trust me, you will see. You will understand what we're going through. So everybody should be in the fight. Maybe we don't need to call it feminism, as Adrian has said, but we should all be in the fight for equal rights for everybody, whether by race, by anything. Everybody should have equal rights. We're all human beings. Nobody's lower than anybody. So yeah, so thank you all so much for being here. I know we talked like more than, I said 30 minutes, but I think it's like an hour. So thank you so much for this very, very interesting conversation. I hope that we'll have more conversations in the future. For the viewers out there, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, do the needful, and also let us know your comments too in the comment section. Let us know who you agree with, who you disagree with, your own ideas on feminism, and all the questions that we've posed today. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.